The situation is difficult when it's really challenging, when the financial situation is really poor, when budgets have been blown, then there are opportunities for women. I've always encouraged women to actually say yes in those circumstances, because first of all, you take a limited risk, because if the situation is really rock bottom, you're not going to go further down, so you can only move it up. And there are very few men to actually take those jobs because they think that they're going to be compromised and they're not going to be associated with success, which I think is a wrong approach. But that's when you have to grit your teeth, smile, and continue the job and prove yourself, and not, just pick up the pieces and then hand over to the man who is going to come along and say, okay, it's easy, now I can do it. No, we have to just hang in there. First point is, anybody, men and women alike, can actually look around them and see what they can do and wonder whether there is a space, a voice for women around them. Have a look at the policies available in your country. Figure out whether there is equality of treatment, equality of wages, equality of participation in the labor force. Figure out, if not, what explains that. Are there childcare centres? Is there a budget that is actually associated with improvement of the situation of parents? And really, it goes down to very technical details. Look at your tax system. Is the tax unit a family unit or is it a person? If it's a family unit, is it not the case that the woman gets discriminated because she is regarded as the second or secondary earner? And in that case, the marginal rate is higher. If so, change the system. If I'm in business, which I was, have a look at your bottom line, have a look at your board membership, and have a look at your executive team. Is there a sufficient number of women? Do you have diversity on the team? Can you not improve your bottom line simply by replacing a man with a woman, which is demonstrated to be a positive? So it depends, who you talk to and where you are, but in any circumstances, you can change things.
I would say a relentless focus on continuing to try to improve everything you do. That no matter how senior you get in an organization, no matter how well you're perceived to be doing, your job is never done. Your customers are expecting more from you. Your competitors are putting pressure on you by doing more and trying to beat you here and beat you there. My father's often cited as being a very creative business thinker. That was always an influence on me, that don't assume that the answers are out there in the form of somebody else already doing something. Sometimes they are, but you have to think beyond that. You have to think that the answer and the right answer for you and your organization might not be something that's been done before. And it's up to you to discover and work with your team to form and figure out how to do successfully.
What's the best piece of advice you've received on navigating both career and family?
Overwhelmingly, particularly professionally, I would say to everyone, trust your instincts. Lots of people will give you advice, and depending upon how well they know you, the advice might be valid or not so valid. But at the end of the day, you know yourself best and you know what will work for you. In terms of family, you have to work with your spouse to figure out how to make sure that your career demands are somewhat complementary so that you can figure out all the logistics and day-to-day challenges of making sure that your kids are where you want them to be.
My parents met at the Boeing company, and I started my career at Boeing within a couple of weeks of graduating from university in finance. And so I had the opportunity in that role to see every aspect of the defense business and actually sit at the table and negotiate with customers on different deals. I love the hard jobs. I love those jobs that make you lose sleep at night, that cause you to have that difficult feeling in the pit of your stomach. So while I've spent time in finance, I have run multiple programs. I've been on the factory floor. I have been a business leader for our services business, as well as been the chief financial officer for our defense business. If you ask me today, I would tell you I feel like this position has been made for me. It brings together all of my experience sets and a great team to where we can really create the future together. But it was never preordained, it was never planned. I like to tell people, make yourself uncomfortable, continue to grow and develop. Be ready for whatever opportunity may present itself. That makes you a more authentic and real leader when the time comes. I think the biggest challenge, likely not just for myself but for others, is to stay true to yourself. You know, if you think back to the late 80s when I joined the company, women were supposed to be more like men. We were supposed to look a certain way, act a certain way. There were very few women in leadership positions, not just in Boeing, but across our industry, and I would say across the industrial industry, not just aerospace and defense. And I was told early in my career that I laughed too much, that I smiled too much. Being true to ourselves is probably the greatest form of diversity that we have, because it allows us to bring our experiences together, it allows us to bring thoughts to the table, and it allows us to have a better answer at the end of the day.